Kirk's best friend in Star Trek. Strange New Worlds isn't Spock. It's an original series villain. When people think about Captain James T. Kirk, one image comes to mind immediately: the unshakable bond between Kirk and Spock. Their legendary friendship defined Star Trek, the original series TOS, shaping not only the characters but also popular culture itself. But in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, a prequel series set before the Enterprise's 5-year mission, the franchise quietly reveals that Kirk's earliest and perhaps most meaningful friendship didn't start with Spock at all. It began with someone fans would never expect: Samuel Kirk, his brother, and even more intriguingly, a man who later becomes one of TOS's strangest villains, Captain Matthew Decker. This shift in perspective doesn't diminish the eventual Kirk-Spock bond, but it reframes Kirk's growth as a leader and shows that before Spock became his anchor, another flawed but fascinating figure was his confidant. Strange New Worlds' bold choice. When Paul Wesley first appeared as a young James T. Kirk in Strange New Worlds Season 1, many fans expected him to immediately share screen time with Spock Ethan Peck. After all, TOS trained audiences to think of the two as inseparable. Instead, the series took a surprising route. Kirk gravitated toward relationships with others first, particularly Lieutenant Lon Noonien Singh and, in Season 2, Commodore Matthew Decker. Yes, that Decker, the very same character who, in TOS's classic episode, The Doomsday Machine, loses his mind after a devastating encounter with a planet-killing weapon. By the time William Wyndham played him in the 1967 episode, Decker was a haunted, broken man. But Strange New Worlds introduces him in his prime, giving fans a new lens. What if Decker wasn't just another Starfleet officer, but actually Kirk's first great friend in the fleet? Why Decker works as Kirk's best friend. Decker and Kirk's bond makes sense in ways Spock and Kirk's couldn't yet. For one, both men are human officers driven by ambition, courage, and a willingness to bend rules when needed. In Kirk, Decker finds a kindred spirit, a rising star with the same mixture of cocky bravado and genuine idealism. For Kirk, Decker provides something Spock never could: a mirror. Spock challenges Kirk's emotional impulses with logic, but Decker validates them. Their friendship is built on shared instincts and a mutual understanding of what it takes to lead. This is why Kirk's admiration for Decker feels so natural in Strange New Worlds. The younger Kirk sees in him both a mentor and an equal, someone who shows him the ropes of command while also recognizing his potential. That bond deepens when we remember what awaits Decker in TOS. His eventual downfall and the Doomsday Machine becomes far more tragic when reframed through the lens of Kirk's friendship. Decker isn't just another officer gone astray. He's Kirk's first best friend, a man whose loss and humiliation leave a permanent mark on him long before Spock becomes his confidant. How this reframes Kirk's character. Kirk's early connection with Decker adds layers to his development that Spock alone can't explain. It suggests Kirk learned lessons about leadership, loyalty, and failure before Spock ever entered his inner circle. The weight of command. Watching Decker make desperate, reckless decisions in TOS makes more sense if Kirk once looked up to him. The tragedy is sharper. Kirk saw what command could do to even the strongest men. The fragility of friendship. Spock's friendship is legendary because it endures. Decker's doesn't. By giving Kirk a deep but ultimately doomed friendship before Spock, Strange New Worlds emphasizes how rare and precious Kirk and Spock's bond really is. Why Kirk values Spock differently. Having lost Decker to the horrors of space and his own demons, Kirk may cling harder to Spock's steady presence. Spock's loyalty becomes the antidote to the fragility he experienced with Decker. This recontextualization is subtle but powerful. Rather than diminishing Kirk and Spock's dynamic, it enhances it by showing that Kirk had to lose one best friend before he found the one who would last. A villain turned tragic ally. In many ways, Strange New Worlds rebrands Decker not as a villain but as a tragic hero. Fans of TOS always saw him as a cautionary tale, a broken man consumed by grief and obsession. Now, the prequel lets us meet the man he was before the fall: charismatic, competent, and admired by Kirk himself. This retroactive storytelling enriches Decker's eventual fate. When he steals a shuttle in the Doomsday Machine and sacrifices himself in a futile attempt to destroy the weapon, we're no longer just watching a desperate officer unravel. We're watching Kirk lose someone who once shaped him. That emotional punch lands harder when audiences remember their friendship in Strange New Worlds. Why this storytelling choice matters.